Good morning. Today we're extremely graced to have Swami Yogatmananda, the president of the Vedanta Society of Providence, Rhode Island. And today will be a much more composed introduction to him. He was born in Karnataka state in India in 1953, joined the order in 1976, took sannyas in 1986, and then was posted to the Ramakrishna Math in Nagpur. He was there for 20 years serving, then became the head of the Ramakrishna mission in Shillong. In 2001, he was posted as head of the Providence Center, which had been, Boston and Providence had been one center with two branches like Southern California, but in 2001 it was separated?
No, they were always separate centers.
Okay, always separate centers,
Under
but
one Swami.
under one Swami. So in 2001, each center got its own head Swami. And yesterday, he also serves as part of the...
Again, a small correction.
Okay.
In 2001, Providence got a separate head Swami, and Boston Center
Already
continued
had
to
one.
be under Sarvagatananji
Okay.
till 2002.
Oh, I didn't realize he died in 2002.
No, he didn't
No.
die. He died in 2009.
Okay, I'm getting my history of Boston and Providence, which I'm not
These
good.
are minor details.
Anyway, Swami has been the head of Providence since 2001. Swami Chagananda, who's coming in August, is the president of Boston Center. You'll meet him also. Swami also serves on the, he's a Hindu affiliate at Brown University and the chaplain at Dartmouth University. Now, many of you were here at the retreat yesterday, which was absolutely marvelous. It was on the Prophet by Khalil Gibran. But I'm going to stop talking and let Swami give his lecture.
ॐ भद्रं कर्णैभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागं सस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May we hear what is auspicious with our ears. May we see with our eyes what is auspicious. May we live our life allotted to us by the gods, doing service to God. Om, peace, peace, peace. Thank you, revered Krishna Prana Mataji, revered Vraja Prana Mataji, all these newly joined wonderful nuns, and all the devotees. I feel very blessed and fortunate to be here. What a beautiful spiritually charged space you have generated here. I was telling one devotee in the morning as I was walking in the property that the property is certainly very charming, very beautiful, very spiritually charged. But I admire those a few these nuns who keep it so nice, so well taken care of. To have something is one point, but to maintain it is quite another thing.
I remember this company had come to properly repair our parking lot. There were a lot of cracks in that, and their truck said, "They pave, we save." so, uh, so that is how you know that the property is here, but to take good care of it, to maintain it, and to make it available to the spiritual seekers is a really stupendous task. So I feel blessed to come here and learn about all these wonderful things, so that I can take that wisdom with me. We come here and should carry the wisdom that we get with us. It is one of the prayers that Vedic prayer says that may not what I learn from scriptures ever forsake me. Means we hear the scriptures, we come to the class, we hear wonderful teachings, and then go out, keep those teachings just here, do not carry them with us. It's like going to a grocery store and then filling your cart with all these things, and with the full cart you come to the that register, pay for it, and then what do? Leave the cart and go. Then why did you pay money? Why did you go? So if you come here, you have invested so much to come here. Your time, your money, and your efforts, your mind. You are sitting here for quite some time. It is an investment. You have put in something. And what are you going to get? That wisdom. Now you have to carry it and use it. Groceries you not just carry, you nourish yourself with those. So the wisdom that we carry, firstly we should not just leave it here. We should carry and then lead our life on the what we have carried in. It should be enriching our mind, our spiritual being. So that is the purpose that we come here for. And today I'll be discussing a topic that is actually based on one of Swami Vivekananda's lectures given in Los Angeles in 1900. In January of 1900, he spoke in Los Angeles on this topic. The title is very nice, The Open Secret. And now, whatever you see, something is secret, cannot be open. This is a contradiction. Open secret. But that is the description of our life really. It is the open. Means we are seeing it all the time, but yet we don't see it. It is secret for us. So that is a great idea in Vedanta, that this is all God. It is all God, and yet we keep on looking for God, while always in front of us there is nothing but God, and yet we don't find it. Where is God? Let us search for the God. So this is a constant topic in Vedanta to study and to feel and to experience. These are the stages that one goes through, one tries to understand. Then next step is feeling. Understanding is more superficial, feeling is something deeper. And then that feeling further ripens into experience. So, and then we see the purpose of our life is fulfilled. We come to total fulfillment when we experience that reality. So this lecture brings about these important points based on, although there is no mention of that treatise, it seems that it is an explanation and paraphrasing of Shankaracharya's commentary, introductory commentary on Brahma Sutra, which is titled as Adhyasa Bhashya, or discussion, a thesis on superimposition. Superimposition is something like that. You superimpose one thing on another. People say that I tell jokes. It is not really joke, but that is what happens. There was one man, rather quite old and getting senile. So he was talking to another man that, my son informed me this morning that his wife gave birth to a child. But he didn't tell whether it was a girl or a boy. So I don't know, now I have become grandmother or grandfather. Now, what is happening there? Superimposition. The gender of that child is being superimposed on this man's gender. Whether I become a grandmother or grandfather, well, actually, it doesn't depend on that gender of the newborn. You remain man or woman exactly, so you will become grandfather. But he was not able to see this. So, in this world, we are somewhat like that. Oh, who am I? I do not get changed at all. The body, mind, those things undergo changes. But I superimpose those on the unchanging self, unchanging Atman. And therefore, I say that I am slim or I am fat. It is. Now, what is it that we are talking about? It is about the body. And Atman doesn't have any such thing. Does anybody become slim or stout? No, it is the body that becomes slim or stout. Not I. Of course, somebody's ego also becomes big. That is again the quality of ego, It is not the quality of the Atman. Atman remains unchanged. But this superimposition, I say, I came from Providence to Santa Barbara. Did I come? It is the body and travel, that's all. But having identified with body, I feel I have come. I do not go anywhere. I am all pervading. Where is the going for the I? It's not there. But we are caught in this contradiction that I, body or not body? If I am not body, then what is body? The questions are very difficult to answer in this way, but this idea of superimposition clarifies it, that the Atman, not body, but body has no existence without Atman. Body is not Atman, but without Atman, the body has no existence at all. So one must see these things very clearly. So this clarification must be there. Where is God? Right here, there is nothing but God. So, am I God? Yes and no. As a limited individual, you are not exactly God. But apart from God, you do not have any existence. Sounds somewhat difficult, but these things are difficult if we try to intellectually grasp them. But as we go deeper, the truths, as it were, come forth. Vedanta, or for that matter any religion, cannot be grasped through intellect. Intellect, as I was telling yesterday too, that it is one tool, that's all. And it can help you to get to some level of understanding, can help you to some extent, but that's about it. It is then you have to develop the other faculty, the faculty of intuition, where your intellect has no reach. You have to develop the faculty of devotion. As Sri Ramakrishna used to say, that intellect, it stops at the outer parlor. When a guest, a visitor comes to your place, maybe is canvassing for votes in elections, so knocks at your door, and then you say, okay, very good, thank you for coming, and okay, we'll see whom we vote, yeah, and then that man is sitting only in the outer parlor, doesn't go inside. Intellect is like that, stays only in the outer parlor. That is what Sri Ramakrishna says. But devotion goes deeper, goes right into your kitchen, goes right into the inner apartment. You all feel that, isn't it? That is why what the laughter indicated, that yes, devotion goes right deep, and that is why we need to develop devotion. Please do not have that kind of misunderstanding. We labor under that misunderstanding a lot, that no, I am a non-dualist. I do not follow the path of bhakti or devotion. That is for all those who are kind of lower level aspirants. I am, yes, I am intellectual. Gradually I have found, especially after coming to America and being associated with so many so-called intelligentsia in the universities, that they are far from intelligent. They do not have even that much intelligence to know that they are not intellectuals. They are swayed by emotions like anything. They have all those emotions, like very enhanced, in fact, presented in a very polished manner, that's all. It is, there was one Buddha, one Shankaracharya. They could really say that they are intellectuals, because if their intellect shows that this world is unreal, the world would just drop from their perception, their experience. It is unreal. Others, they just talk about it. They did not despise devotion. Shankaracharya was such a great devotee. So, it is very important to see that we will not be able to understand or have any deeper meaning revealed to us only by using intellect. We have to use the devotional faculty that goes deeper. It is like you apply an ointment, it remains on the skin, but when a shot is given, then it goes deeper, gets into your bloodstream. So devotion can be compared to that, It is, you are being treated with an injection, a shot is given, so it enters right into your blood. And ointment on the skin, that's it, It is. So therefore, we must see that as we try to look at this truth at deeper level, then we see that all these contradictions are the part of this whole existence. And what is contradiction? Those who have learned some high school mathematics, that there is a method of proving something through the method of contradiction. That, okay, you assume exactly opposite of what you want to prove and show that it leads to contradiction, and therefore your assumption must be wrong, and therefore the negation of your assumption must be true. So everything that we do in this world is mired in this terrible contradiction. So this total assumption on which all this is based, that I and the world, they are real, that assumption has to be dropped. Swami Vivekananda therefore begins that lecture. This was, as I mentioned earlier, 5th January 1900, delivered in Los Angeles. Open secret. Whichever way we turn in trying to understand things in their reality, if we analyze far enough, he has to put it, if we analyze far enough, because most people are too busy in running after sensual pleasures, they don't have time or the intent to analyze deeper. So, but if we analyze far enough, we find that at last we come to a peculiar state of things, seemingly a contradiction, something which our reason cannot grasp, and yet it is a fact that we cannot reject. In another place, Swami Vivekananda calls this as Maya. The Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita and the teachings of Sri Ramakrishna, Vivekananda, that is termed as Maya. In Jnana Yoga, he gives 3 chapters are on this idea of Maya. That what is it? It is contradiction. It is a matter of fact. He again and again tells that Maya is not a theory. It is not an explanation. Theory means an explanation. That you see something and then you have a theory, like the Darwin's theory of evolution, that he observed many things, that how the species seem to evolve from one to the next one, and what is the idea behind it, and then came up with that wonderful theory, evolution of species. And you can see that even after more than a century, that theory works tremendously well. It works at the level of, say, big animals, works at the level of minute creatures, even at the level of virus. It seems to work. It seems to work in the plant life everywhere, these principles. So now with all this evidence, we say, yes, that theory seems to present the truth. So at that level it does present the truth, but this theory means you first explain the facts. You see the facts, that is the general method of science, that you observe, then you categorize, you then deduce conclusions from those facts. So, and that you generalize them, that it is an example, common example. Newton saw an apple falling down from the tree, from his window. He saw, hey, that apple fell down. But then the law of gravitation is not applicable just to that apple, for anything. So you generalize that it happens to everything. That is how the law, you observe a few things and then connect the dots, and then say that this is the law. It works for everybody. It works for an atom. It is applicable to an atom. It is applicable to black hole. Whatever that it is, this law of gravitation, it becomes a law by generalization. So, this is what the reason does, this is what a theory is. Swami Vivekananda says, Maya is just a word to say that it is a statement of fact. There is no attempt at explaining anything. This is the fact that we experience but cannot explain. That is called, in one word, Maya. That it is fact. We cannot deny it. But our reason cannot explain it at all. And we see this thing all the time. So this is to be understood, that this existence of ours in this world is like that, full of contradictions. One very common is we try to know. One example that Swami Vivekananda gives here is that of finite and infinite. That we feel that he gives example of a flower, that this is a common flower, finite. I can just pick it, keep it in my this pump, that's all. So small. But when you try to see that who is there who knows everything about that flower, the flower has so many secrets that one can unfold, understand. And that flower which appeared to be finite now has become infinite. We don't know much about it. So, and that is with everything. Contradiction. Finite as well as infinite. In every way. In and out. It is who is in, who is out. It depends on what boundary you create and what you think of. Like, I am in the hall. You may all say, isn't it, I am in this hall. Are you in this hall? Just the mind goes all over. What football game is going on today? So, and who is next coming to our home as guest, and so forth. All that. So, are you here in the hall? No, yes and no. Contradiction, You are here and you are not here. So, it is obvious, but there is no explanation to it. That this is called this open and yet secret. We are seeing it right in front of us, but as it were fully mesmerized, as it were. that we somehow get into this misconception that I and the world, this division is real. On the basis of that, we say I know, because there is the known and there is the knower. There is a line of demarcation that we perceive. There is the subject, I, and the object, the world. All our life is based on this division. Do you agree? That this division, I and the world, are separate things. There is a line of demarcation. Like there is a line of demarcation, this podium. So we know that there is the line of demarcation. That won't be called podium. This will be called podium. And so forth. We have that where it ends and where the other thing begins. Now, where I end and where the world begins. Come on, friends. Try to draw a line of demarcation where I ends and where the world begins. It appears to be simple. What do you mean, Swami? I know where I end and the world begins. Not so simple. In fact, you will soon discover that such a line doesn't exist. It just appears. There is nothing like where I end. I do not end, because actually I don't end. I am the whole universe. And yet all our actions, they are based on taking such a division to be real. I want to eat the cake. So I am not the cake, obviously, isn't it? If it is I am cake, I am not eating myself. It is. So there is a line of demarcation, I and the cake. Now, this line of demarcation is taken for granted for everything, and we get cheated because such a line actually doesn't exist at all. It is I and the cake. Where is the line of demarcation? When you saw the cake, it already got into your brain, isn't it? So it is in or out. It is in. It is not out. It is, you already have become the cake, as it were, even before that goes in your tummy. So, by just looking at it, it has been taken in. So, there is a big problem about exactly where this line is. And here Swami Vivekananda says that it is all contradictory. There is no such line. And therefore, taking this line to be granted, whatever we do, we end in frustration, because there is no such line. So what you do, and our whole life, Shankaracharya says, therefore, in that commentary that I mentioned, that Yushma Dasmat Pratyaya Gocharayoho Vishaya Vishayinoho Paraspara Viruddha Tama Prakasha Swabhavayoho, they are all actually very opposite to each other. Subject and object, they are opposite to each other. They are opposed to each other as light and darkness. And yet, we are not able to separate them, where the subject ends and where the object begins. And all our life, he says, Shankaracharya continues, but taking this line to be granted and confusing between the subject-object, it is that has become our whole life. And that is why if our life is based on deception, means we are getting cheated, then we cannot expect much happiness in the life we get. Therefore, it will be a surprise if we do not get frustrated. It is, if one gets frustrated, it is quite a rational consequence of what we are doing. And we are, say, going, hitting a wall again and again. Hey, is it we are getting hit again and again? Is it a surprise? Oh, you are trying to go through the wall, and so you are going to get hit. And so that is how in this world we do not know where the subject ends and the object begins, and yet we want to grab all the nice objects. Let me appropriate it so that my life will be very, very pleasant, happy, rich and joyous life. Where does it end? We all know, we don't have to discuss that. And why so? That is obvious, it is quite clear that if your basis is wrong, if it is unreal, then whatever you do on that basis is going to lead to frustration. Yeah, how long will you have to walk to reach the horizon? How long? Will you get frustrated in the attempt or not? What? Gargi? How long will you be walking to get to the horizon? Forever. Exactly, forever. So that is what happens in our attempt here, that let me grab this. Once I get this, my life will be so much, just all sweet and honey. The dreams keep on going. In that Jnana Yoga, Vivekananda says at one place that at the young age, you feel that no, just a few more steps and that happiness is in your reach. And you keep on thinking, just one more step. That Sri Ramakrishna and Vivekananda both gave that, this example was given by both of them, that in an oil mill that is used to be run by a bull. So the bull would be rotating there, but now why the bull will walk? So they would tie a stick protruding from that animal's head, and in front of that, on that stick, very clearly visible to the bull, would be a nice bunch of hay hanging from there. Now the bull thinks just one more step and that I will get the hay. Hey, keep on running, that's it, The bull keeps on going, the owner is taking out the oil, and so our condition is like that. Oh, let me get this job, and that's it. So many, we are like that. One lady was telling me that I want that job, that's it, It is, this job is not so good. Once I get that job, it will be so nice. And then she used to pray that I get this job. So what is going to happen with my prayers? No, pray, I want that job. She got it. And then she said, oh, nothing much, it is okay, but not much rewarding. So it is only before we get, we feel excitement. That's about it. Because actually there is nothing new about it. It is all more and more frustrations we keep on adding because it is all contradictory. The whole existence of subject-object is contradiction. And therefore, towards the end of that, Shankaracharya mentions there that therefore, to remove this contradiction, to remove this fictitious line between so-called subject and object, to remove that line is the job that Vedanta undertakes. That removal of this fictitious line is the cause of all bondage and consequent misery. It is nobody makes an attempt to get misery. Everybody makes attempt to get happiness. But again, contradiction. If I am working to get happiness sincerely, then what should I get? Happiness, isn't it? If I am following the right directions, driving to Santa Barbara, where should I reach? What, Florida? No, it is... but this is what happens in this world. I go to get happiness, and the result of all that I do to get happiness is suffering. There is no other reason for suffering. And on the very first page of this book, Karma Yoga, Swami Vivekananda mentions that if we analyze the cause of all the misery and sufferings that we get in life, is because we run after getting happiness. Now, isn't it contradictory? I run to get happiness, and alas, I get misery. Still more contradiction, still a terrible example of how this contradiction has gripped us is that we cannot stop it. Even though I know that this is not going to bring happiness to me, yet as it were like a slave, somebody holding gun to my head, hey, you must do it. So I go run to things to get pleasures, knowing well that I am going to get misery. I have no control, I cannot stop it. It is again a contradiction. I say it is my body. So my body, whom should it obey? It should obey me. No, it dictates me. Instead of obeying me. And yet I call it my body. No, it is not my body. I am slave to body. I belong to body rather than body belonging to me. Contradiction. And this is how we should see that where the contradiction will not be, by seeing the oneness. If we penetratively see, we shall find this, that holding on to the one without second truth, that will usher in the true happiness in our life. Friends, there is no shortcut. You cannot have I and happiness too. No. You have to have the one without second awareness. All is one. There is no subject-object. And then there is happiness. I will get happiness means I will surely land in misery, and then I will be forced to call it happiness. We change the words, change the language, same content. Like I read at one place that heck is the place where those who don't believe in gosh go. Now, you don't use the word God and hell, but it is the same thing, So you change the word, but that is what happens. If you observe clearly that the happiness lies in that removal of the distance between the object and the subject. Yeah, so for example, we had many nice things for breakfast today. There was one nice dosa was made by this Mridula and that Himaja, and a very nice thing. But just by looking at it, you don't get the happiness of it. What you have to do? Means then the distance vanishes. There is no dosa left there. After having one, I thought that let me get another one. It was all gone. I am used to my cooking, where the standard of, it is such that it always remains. Nobody goes even for the first, let alone second. So it is. So, but when do we get happiness? That happiness of eating, when there is no distance between them. So that distance, that line of demarcation has to be taken off. And to implement this, you have to practice what is called yoga. Yoga is nowadays has that connotation which limits it to various physical postures. That let me do this, stand on the head or bend the back. It is nothing wrong about it. It helps to keep your body healthy. But the word yoga is not used in this sense, either in Upanishads or in Bhagavad Gita. The yoga means bridging the gap between understanding and experience. You have to bridge the gap. I give this example in schools a lot because they easily can connect it. That you may read a book on swimming, a nice book on swimming, maybe it will require you 2 hours, maybe max 2 days to read and understand it. And that makes you Michael Phelps next moment. What? You don't know what Michael Phelps is probably. If somebody says yes, then that means you do not know Michael Phelps. It requires highly disciplined practice under trainers. Discipline in diet, discipline in getting up and going to bed, discipline in doing exercises. I don't like this. Your liking has no place in it. Whether you like or whether you dislike, you have to do it. So practice, spiritual practice is like that. I don't like it. Who cares what you like or you don't like, One important thing in spiritual life is to therefore kick out this idea of like and dislike. This is to be done, that's all. Whether you like or you don't like has absolutely no place in this. You do if you like. If you don't like, still you do. It is because it is necessary to be done. It is many health restriction. Doctors say, no, don't do this. I don't like. But I have to follow that. It is, otherwise my health will be spoiled. So, therefore, this is to be done in spiritual life. Therefore, the beginning, many of you have read Kathopanishad, I am sure, a great Upanishad. And then the great question that the disciple, a young boy, asks, and the teacher is the death, the god of death, and he tests Nachiketa whether if I, in lieu of that particular boon, if I provide so many so-called pleasurable objects, I will give you as much life as you want. I will give you this whole earth filled with all the these objects of pleasure. You will become, completely a monarch of this whole universe. You will get all these wonderful people, wonderful girls serving you. Come on, take these. And Nachiketa does not budge. No, I want that alone. Otherwise, though you don't have to give anything else. And then Lord of Death became very happy. You are the right aspirant. Why? Because you did not care for what is liked or disliked. You saw what is right and what is not right. So, friends, that needs to become the criterion of our living, our actions. What I like or dislike has no role in it. What is right is to be done. Doesn't matter whether I like or dislike. So, and if something is not right, I must not do it whether I like it or dislike. So that is, the difference is there. That is where the human life becomes different from the animal life. The other animals, for them there is no such distinction. What is liked is right. That is how they are programmed. The liking, and that becomes right. So many human beings who think that it is liking should be the criterion, we can see at what level we are then. Just animal level. And somehow in the present society, especially in United States, that is being encouraged. Oh, you should do what you like. No, don't go to do what you like. See if it is right or not. It is. So then our life gets transformed and we go step by step ahead to erase this fictitious line, and then our life is based on reality, the truth. That is the real. It is, we speak of so-called real world. Once one lady, she was working in the financial business of New York. You can imagine, what kind of very busy life running about here, there. When I was telling that, well, we must develop these qualities, she asked a question. Being intellectual means you have to ask questions, isn't it? So it is, Swami, what you said does not work in the real world. In real world, you have to be street smart and so forth. I said that what you call real world, just see whether it is real or not. You are calling unreal world as the real world. So that is why in that world, competition never ends. Frustration goes on increasing. The suffering and bondage, they go on tightening their grip on us. That is what you call a so-called real world. one has to give up, kick out that idea of its being real. It is a world of delusion. World that is based on this non-existent line of separation, I and the world. So friends, that clock is telling me, hey Swami, time to stop. Swamis are terrible. One minister like me, started giving lecture, told in the beginning that you people tell me to cut short my sermons. I tried, could not, but today I am determined to cut my sermons short, no matter how long it takes to do it. But I am stopping here, friends. And then our Krishna Prana Mataji said that you can take questions from the audience only after you go out, and then people greet you, and those who still have the urge to ask questions, then they can again come in and ask questions. So that is the procedure she has outlined for me. So we shall abide by that. So my heartfelt thanks again to the wonderful Mataji is here, and to all of you, all the devotees, all the wonderful volunteers. They have kept me in such a very comfortable state, great hospitality. It is. Now, for that, I have to do a little work like lectures, giving lectures here and there. And that's all right. No free lunch. I agreed. So, thank you very much. Have a good time in erasing this fictitious line. Thank you very much. Oh, yes. Jayanti has a wonderful voice.
I see your face in the sun, making days so very bright. I see your face in the moon, lighting up the darkest night. I see your face in each flower and in every drop of dew. Oh, everywhere I look, there are you. I see you in the mountains with such silent majesty. I see you in the treetops and in birds that fly so free. I see you in the eyes of friends when they look back at me. Oh, everywhere I look, there are you. Even when dark clouds do sometimes hide the sun, and your face seems hidden, and I feel so all alone, I still know that I'm your child, surrounded by your grace. Please keep me ever close to you and show your precious face. I see you in each step I take, in every place I may be, in every face before my eyes, in waves upon the sea, in each and every pleasure, and even in my pain. Oh, everywhere I look, there are you. I see you in my hopes and fears, and in my every song. smiles and tears, to you I do belong. You're the soul within me and the love within my heart. Everywhere I look, there are you. Yes, you're the soul within me and the love within my heart. Everywhere I look, there are you. Yes, everywhere I look, there are you. There are you. There are you.
Very nice.
Now, we want to thank Swami so much for this wonderful, wonderful talk. I have a few announcements. Wednesday, we'll have the usual class at 5 o'clock on Zoom in the temple. We're reading Memories of a Loving Soul, Swami Premananda. Next, it's not on here. Next Saturday, we will cancel the, July 1st, we're canceling the reading of the gospel because Swami Kripamoyananda from the Toronto Center will be giving a talk here in the temple. We'll have his talk followed by Vespers and then a potluck. So everyone is invited to that. On July 2nd, the next Sunday, Swami Arupeshananda will be giving the lecture, and it's from Willpower to Love. So you're all, it will be Zoom, YouTube, and in person. You're all welcome to come. And now Swami will greet you all at the front door.
Oh, you have a question? Oh, wow. You generated a question. Wow.
So about erasing the subject-object line. When we are thinking about erasing a line on a piece of paper, like a pencil with eraser, if you only press lightly, you can still see the line. And it's still very clear that there was a line there. And if you press really hard, you can get rid of the line and probably wrinkle or crumple the paper that was meant to be kept nice.
Yeah.
What is the better way to erase that demarcation without damaging the paper by pressing too hard to get rid of it?
What you are talking about this is taking the word erasing too seriously. The real line, when you go to erase, all that happens. A non-existent line, erasing it does not require an eraser. It is just transcended, that's all. It does not exist. That is the erasing. So, it is poverty of language, that we have to use such words, erasing, which gives the funny idea that there is a line and then we have to erase it. That is just ignorance. That which is created by ignorance does not need to be really erased, So, just transcend it mentally. It doesn't exist, that's all. It doesn't exist. This world doesn't exist. This I and world division doesn't exist. That is the erasing of it. And you erase it very fast, that like when you know that an earthen pot. Is there a line between the pot and the earth with which it is made? Where is the line? No, I will keep the pot, but let the earth go. No, that earth, the pot is that earth. You cannot really make a line and rub it out between them. The misunderstanding that we have, that needs to be taken out, so nothing gets crumpled even if you erase hard. It is, what you are saying makes sense because we see the line, and so it requires lot of disciplining our life. All that we try to do on the basis of seeing the line, like running after the enjoyment, that is based on seeing this line. So therefore, tell, no, there is only one reality. Do you take food sometimes at this convent, the lunch? You see, they chant a very beautiful mantra there. Om Brahmarpanam Brahmahavir Brahmagnau Brahmanahutam Brahmaivate Nagantavyam Brahmakarma Samadhina. Do you know this, Tara? Good. So, what is this? When we go to eat, we have that awareness. I am the eater that is to be eaten. I am the enjoyer that is to be enjoyed. Now one has to remove this distinction, and therefore we say, no, the same Brahman, same one reality appears as the eater and the eaten and all those things connected with it. There is no distinction between them. No line actually exists. So that is removing this drag of enjoyment that is born of ignorance. That is the erasing, and it does make the paper getting crumpled because that is in our awareness a real line. So we feel it will make the paper get torn or crumpled if I erase too hard. Tell yourself, let it get crumpled. That there will be then the tensions in life. Let them be. This line is not real. So many people feel that, then our relations with other people, they will get spoiled. What does it matter, Let them get spoiled. It is, do you like to spoil your relation with God or with all the other ignorant people like us? Let that relation be spoiled. What does it matter? No, then they will say bad things about me, as if otherwise they don't say. So, it is neither here nor there. Let them say bad things. What does it matter? We have to be on our course. So, it doesn't matter what other people are talking about you. It is just forge ahead towards the goal. Let the paper get torn completely. It doesn't matter. One has to have the courage, The real spiritual life is not for sissies. It is for those who have courage to let that so-called paper of our fictitious existence get torn and destroyed. That which is can never be destroyed. And then what does it matter if that which never was gets destroyed? That which never was, if it gets destroyed, what is wrong about it? What do you lose by that? So, have the courage to erase this line. Only courageous can do the real spiritual practice. Those who say, no, but my mom will, what she will say, think, or what that fellow will think, and then what will happen to me. And those psychologists say that if you try to force this kind of discipline, then it will develop many complexes in you. Oh, forget it, out of those complexes, those psychologists say this, that's all, It is, be courageous and follow the path shown by the sages. Then the line will not be there. It is, we are afraid. Upanishads say that we are scared where there is no fear of anything really. Abhaye bhayadarshinaha, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says that we are scared of diving into an imaginary pool, of getting drowned. The fear of getting drowned in a pool that doesn't exist. That is what this world is. Even if the whole world goes, you don't lose anything. And even if you gain the whole world, you don't gain anything. Yeah, be happy, my dear. Yeah, thank you. There is this lady behind him is also wanting to ask something. I thought I was telling everything so clearly, there will be no questions. Okay.
Thank you. My question may be relevant to the first question. What if we are working with severely traumatized people? In psychology, there's a theory called object relationship, and also transitional object. And there's also, Freud also said there's an oceanic feeling that the subject. But if we're with severely traumatized people after the sort of injured and a lot of So psychology, I feel, cannot solve the problem all the time. So how would Vedanta look at that?
Yes.
Thank you.
Vedanta tells them also that this line does not exist. Your fears were just imaginary. The trauma, what happens with trauma? Some very painful experience gets stuck in your brain. Normally, our brain just sees the experience, accepts or rejects and removes that. It does not get stuck. I am telling in a very simplistic manner, but just for the purpose of our understanding, that's enough. But some very painful experience gets stuck there, and it kind of starts governing everything in the life. So that is the trauma. So there are people who are traumatized. We all are traumatized by this, that this world will be gone. I will be gone. I will die. Everybody is suffering under this trauma, that I will die. What will happen to me? Nothing is happening actually. As we saw, without any happening, we are seeing things happening. That is the contradiction. And the self doesn't go anywhere. That is the truth. And our not seeing the truth is this feelings of trauma come because we have this instrument not working properly. Brain, mind, they are instruments. They are not working properly. And so, there is trauma, and there is the trauma because everybody is traumatized in that way, it doesn't get called as trauma. But we all are traumatized by thinking that this world is real and it will be a real loss. Nothing is really lost or gained here. Not possible at all, because it doesn't exist. God alone is real. That is what Vedanta tells. That is what Jesus says, that first you seek the kingdom of heaven. Everything else shall get added unto it. If we start doing it the opposite way, let me first add everything, then go to the kingdom of heaven, we will miss both. You cannot catch shadows. It is impossible to catch shadows. Let those who are traumatized, I know the Western psychology does not accept this. They are trained in a very funny way. And I do not agree with most of those findings and the ways of treatment that bring the light of truth. Make them fearless. Do not try to keep their trauma going on. It is requires, in psychology, therefore they give shock treatment. Why? Because the person is not able to shake off all that. So the brain needs a good shake-up, that resetting. It needs to get reset. So let there be this light of truth, that where is trauma? Our Ranganathananji, in one of his lectures that is published in, it was a Bhagavad Gita lecture, in that great collection of his lectures on Bhagavad Gita, as he were so message of universal message of Bhagavad Gita, that is a 3-volume set. There he says, look, trauma. I did something wrong deliberately, and my mom came and gave me 2 slaps. And naturally, I felt that haze. Oh! But that's it, After half an hour, everything was normal. I didn't do that mistake again. I got my lesson. Many lessons cannot be given just through words. You need to counter that with the addiction of not listening. If you just keep on telling, that the wound will get festered further. So they bring the light of truth there. Let me tell you one incident. I tell about it at many places, that how one should take harsh sounding steps. Only, oh nice, this, that doesn't work always. We had a mobile, I used to go with that mobile dispensary still runs in Nagpur, and one, go leave me, I am going home, I am running away. And that the assistant told the doctor that this is the situation, what is to be done. The doctor said, well, let me finish some of these patients and I will look into it. And after 2-3 minutes the doctor comes and then, hey, what are you doing here? Gave her big slap. And then she felt dazed. In that 1 minute, that assistant opened that wound, bandage, applied the ointment and put the bandage there, cleaned everything, and then the girl was happy that yes, now because that pus was taken out, and so she was feeling much relieved, you see. So that is the way. If this, of course, in the Western country, that kind of practice will not do. The doctor will lose the license immediately. But tell me, that was not that the best treatment possible there? That in just a few days the girl became all right, was running about. So this is an incident that tells us that there are better ways of dealing with these trauma situations. So yes, thank you very much. I always have fight with psychologists, that because many methods that the Western psychologists take up, I agree with many of their methods, not that everything is wrong, but they pay too much weightage to this trauma, and this it has to be, treated with so-called kind words. Sometimes the kindest words sound the harshest words. That it is, and I have experienced it in my life. Had my parents not used some harsh methods on me, I would have been a more spoiled child. So it is like that. Thank you. Nice question. Forgive me if I have used harsh words. Yes, there are some others who are asking questions. Bolun Moshai.
স্বামীজি অদ্ভুত দারুণ সুন্দর lecture, very nice
Speak in English,
yeah, very nice lecture. My question is a little different than what you delivered today's lecture. Would you kindly educate me that in this life any human can be completely like Buddha by practicing and having a enormous amount, monumental amount of devotion and love, selfless love. Through those paths one can become completely like Buddha or somebody like Shankaracharya in this path.
I don't know why not. I don't have the capacity to say no about it. Because you are that, you will become. Yesterday I gave an example, suppose somebody is using those reading glasses and then has pushed it on the forehead because was doing some other work and the glasses were pushed up on the forehead. Now, can that person find those glasses in this life? How long is it going to take? No answer. It can happen any moment, It can happen any moment, dear. Yeah, so be aware that yes, I am that. Try to feel that awareness in your actions, because you are that. Don't worry about what bad things you did and what other desires you have. All that is product of ignorance. And that ignorance goes, all that goes. Like you wake up in the dream, In dream you were worried that you have taken a $10,000 loan, how to now repay. When you wake up, do you worry about that $10,000 loan? Eh?
Yeah, no, it's pretty.
Pretty straightforward, friend. Don't make things complicated. We are in the habit of making the simple things complicated. Whereas these great teachers like Buddha, Shankaracharya, Jesus, they came to us to simplify things. So let us follow that path. The truth is very simple and straightforward. Do not make it complicated. Thank you.
I wish for you to speak about the absorption of God.
The absorption.
To absorb God.
How to absorb
yes,
God.
The practices that you may, if you feel to share, if you feel.
There are so many practices. That
the
is the yoga. Yeah, practices like.
You spoke about the blood yesterday merging with the blood of God. If you could expand on that, that would be beautiful.
Yes, it is. There is nothing but God. So, one has to keep on filling our understanding by constantly hearing that. Don't hear anything else. Do not hear anything that other people will be telling you. It is those who ignorant people, they themselves don't know. And then they say, oh, because then if you do that, the society will be all destroyed. It is what is. So don't pay attention to that. Keep on filling the mind with the truth that God alone is. All other things are just forms. That it is, you are already filled with God. Like a clay pot is filled with clay. Is there anything else? No. It is very simple truth. So hold on to it, fill your mind with that. Constantly hear it. That is called Shravana. Then because you have the all previous impressions, then they will tell how wrong your understanding is. So by using logic, remove those things, answer those objections, use logic in there. That no, that's what you ignorant guys are telling me, not true. I am going to go on the path of the sages. And the third thing is relentlessly pursue it in spite of obstructions and so forth. It is because our mind will otherwise keep on bringing out excuses for not keeping up with the practice. Oh, there were guests at my home. What does it matter? Even if the guests are there, one must see those guests also as the forms. God is in each and everything. So let us hold on to that. The difficulties come. Oh, I am not in providence right now. How can I practice my meditations? No, whether you are in providence, and of course we are always in providence, but in a different sense. So it is, keep on your practice. It is, don't, let us not bring out some excuses for not holding on to this practice relentlessly and with more and more intensification of it. And you will see that for sure. Any other question? Oh, your name is? Mercy. Mercy.
Yeah.
Very good. Show mercy to me.
I don't know if I can. You were speaking, you were just saying about using logic after you've listened. And when you're dealing, when I'm dealing with, past fetters, what do I use the same resolve for that because it's a mental?
Same resolve. Same
Excuse me?
resolve and same very analytical logic has to be used.
Has to be used.
That it is all unreal. It is all with beginning and end. It is all impermanent. So one has to use that. Yeah. Thank you. So very good. Thank you, friends, again. Yeah. Why people ask, you are all really know more than I know, but you still ask questions. That's funny, I remember in Pune, I was giving a lecture there, and then the question answer. So somebody asked a question, and then one girl sitting right in front, she was nudging another person. He ask something, otherwise he will go away. So the idea was to keep me there. Thank you.